Welcome back, everybody. Today I want to go over the Zenitco stocks that I have. Today I have represented the Generation 1 PT-1 and the Generation 2 PT-1. I do not have a PT-3, which they produced after they ceased production of the PT-1. They moved on to a PT-3. There was enough demand and want for the PT-1 that they ended up redesigning it and developing the PT-1 Gen 2. Alright, so first let's go over the Gen 1 PT-1. This one I have painted, but they came in black only. You have a bolt right here that you could remove and adjust the butt plate for height as you desired. Same thing for the cheek riser here. You can adjust that depending on what type of optic you're running, or you could remove it entirely. And these stocks came with a rubber piece that would go into these little, just pop into these little holes here. That way your face wasn't sitting directly onto the alloy. So that's how it locks here, is this little throw lever. Locks. The magnet just kind of helps secure it there. Going up a little bit further, there is this ring that travels all the way around. I use that as my sling mount. There was another option for a QD point here. This ring is removable. You can remove these bolts and then just use a QD. Let's see here. This one is a 4.5. These all have adapters. You can just remove this bolt and put the other adapter on it. They have 5.5, 4.5, fixed stock, and possibly also a Sega, Russian Sega specific, because in Russia, when the stock is folded, the firearm cannot fire if it's under a certain length. I do believe that's their law. But pointless for us here in the US, we either get the 4.5 usually, because the Bulgarian rifles that we typically see have the 4.5, or if we find a 5.5 trunnion, we can order one of those. Pretty adjustable for length of pull. In between that and the adjustable cheek rest and the butt plate, it's very ergonomic and adjustable. What's interesting about these is when they side fold, they don't lock on the latch that a triangle stock or a polymer side folder that usually would. They actually have a mechanism that interacts with another piece that you install inside the rear trunnion, and when it folds, it locks. I can go over that here on this next stock. That's the Gen 1. I do believe that they had several design changes during the Gen 1, because I have seen some that have a different angle on these, but I think this is the later offering before they decided to discontinue and redesign. Now to the Gen 2. A lot of the characteristics transferred over. You still have this bolt here. You can remove. You still have adjustment places. There are a couple less than on the previous, but that's no issue for me at least. The hex bolts are replaced with these easy to tighten and remove bolts, which was actually a transition from the PT-3. The PT-3 had larger faced bolts, and then you can either remove it or adjust it, put it in those different slots as needed. Alright, move it on. It also still has the same locking mechanism here for the adjustment. The ring went from being a squared off corner to more of a curved edge, continues all the way around. I think that is a good idea, because the way I run my sling is just kind of looped, kind of like how you would on the sling mount on a regular AK, and that canvas binds up less. I would assume, I haven't put a sling on here yet, but it binds up at these cornered edges. There's also this added on. It's just a bolt that holds on this ring here. use that for a sling if you want. I'm going to end up removing that because I already have a method that works for me. The QD is still present. You get to remove this, and then you just have that QD point. This one does have the 5.5 adapter on it. The butt plates are different in the regards that they now send you two different options. It comes installed with the larger one. I installed the smaller one. I'm going to see how that works out. If I don't like it, I'll switch back to the larger one. And then one of the other differences is that cheek rest, the cheek riser. They are different shape, different design. This one, the Gen 2 is simplified, I would say. It's lightened. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and weigh these. Alright, got our scale zeroed out here. Let's put the Gen 1 on there. 1 pound, 2.3 ounces. Nope. Can't forget the piece that goes in the trunnion. So 1 pound, 2.6 ounces. Set that aside. Gen 2. 15.6 ounces. It's not even a pound. I do believe it'll go over a pound if you do have the larger butt plate on there, because it in itself is almost 2 ounces. It's 1.9 there. So these socks will come with some very useful directions if you can read Russian. A couple pictures, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I'll go ahead and get it set up here in a trunnion and show you what that's about. Alright, so you got your trunnion here. You got this little wedging piece. Set that in there like so. This step up kind of fills the gap there. And then your stock, just line the holes up. You got to deep press this little button. Get the holes lined up. And then you run your pin through. Alright, now that you got your pin ran through it, it is attached to a trunnion. You notice it's locked to the side. You just got to deep press this little button here, and then it is able to go. So there it is. That's the Gen 2. I'm excited to see how this feels on a rifle. It's going to be going on that Sega. Got the proper 5.5 for the rear trunnion to make it a proper AK-105. Thanks for watching, guys. Any questions, feel free to ask. I'm not a complete expert on Zenitco, but I have ordered and used enough that if you have a question, I could probably either give you an answer or find the answer for you. Take care, guys.